Hello students and learners, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about transport of mineral salts, transport of materials in plant, and ringing experiment. Okay, so these three are the topics that we are going to discuss in this lecture. So the first is the transport of minerals. So first of all, what is meant by transport? Transport means the movement of anything, okay, any substance, whether it may be water or food material. Movement from one place to another place is known as transport. For example, in case of plants, we can see the food is produced in leaves. Okay, the food is produced in the leaves, and the produced food in the leaves will be transported to the roots. Okay, and also shoots and so on. So such kind of a process, such kind of movement of any substance from one place to another place is known as a transport. Okay, here in this topic we are going to discuss about how the mineral salts are going to get transported. What is meant by mineral salts? Mineral salts means these are a kind of chemical substances. Okay, how these chemical substances are transported, that we are going to discuss now. Okay, the first is mineral salts are necessary for the plant's nutrition. Okay, so plant nutrition is nothing but the required elements for the plant growth and development, that is known as plant nutrition. So the plants need what? The plants need water. The plants need, especially it need magnesium and sulfur and so on. Different kinds of the materials are necessary for the plants for the growth and development. Okay. So whatever the materials that are needed for the plant is absorbed through the root hairs. In the previous lectures also we have discussed. So let us consider this is the main root, and this main root has some kind of small hair-like structure. These hair-like structure are known as root hairs. So these root hairs are going to absorb the water. Okay, that is also soil water. But we have to remember that the soil water is nothing but a water that is present in soil along with some kind of chemical elements, or you can call it as a minerals. These minerals are present in the salt water and also or the soil water and containing the mineral salts. Okay, next is salts are available in the form of ions or electrically charged. So what is meant by ion? Ion is nothing but so a charged particle or charged atom is known as ion. So for example, NaCl. Okay, NaCl, when you drop it in the water or when you dissolve the NaCl or sodium chloride in the water, what you can see? You can see Na plus Cl minus. Okay, these are ions. Can you see the charges over there? Yes, on the sodium you can see the positive charge, on the chlorine you can see the negative charge. So hence these are known as charged particles or ions. Okay, so in the form of ions, and also these ions are electrically charged. So due to the presence of the charge over it, due to the presence of charge on the atom, these root hairs cannot absorb by a process known as simple diffusion. So how the plants are going to absorb then? If the simple diffusion is not if the absorption of the elements is not possible through simple diffusion, how the plants are going to absorb these minerals? Okay, the question is the answer is simple. That is nothing but the using energy. Okay, they are going to use some amount of energy. So like ATP. Okay, the ATP contains some amount of energy. It is utilized for the take up of these sodium for the by the taking of you can call it as by utilizing ATP. Okay, by utilizing ATP, the energy will be liberated, and the energy is used for the uptake of these minerals or charged ions into the plant body. Okay, so remember, so these diffusion, simple diffusion cannot take the ions or electrically charged particles. So as a result, the energy is utilized for the uptake of mineral salts, uptaking of mineral salts into the plant. Okay, so hence energy is main important role. It is utilized for the absorption of mineral salts into the plant body. Okay, so just now we have seen the electrically charged forms. So if you take the example sodium chloride, it is nothing but NaCl. It contains Na plus and Cl minus. And magnesium sulphate, it contains Mg2. So Mg2 contains what? Mg2 plus and also SO42 minus. So these are the charged particles. Okay, the energy is needed for the transportation of for the transportation into the cytoplasm. It means whatever the energy is utilized here, ATP, it is making the mineral salts to take up into the cytoplasm of the plant. Okay, or transport into the cytoplasm of the plant. Next, absorbs minerals or absorbed minerals are transported into the growing parts of the plant through the xylem. So whatever the minerals that have been absorbed in the root hairs by utilizing energy, so these minerals are transported into the growing parts of the plant for the growth and development of the plant body parts. Okay. So next, transport of minerals. So now we are going to discuss about how the minerals are transported. Okay, so especially the synthesized food, whatever synthesized food is there in the green parts of the plant, especially the leaves, they are getting transported into the growing areas. For example, the food is produced in the leaf. Okay, the food is produced in the leaves, and this food has to be transported to the next branches. Okay, so the branches are growing, so the food is transferred to the branches so that the branches can utilize food. Okay, they can utilize food for the growth and development. Okay, this is the main purpose of the transport of materials. Okay, so the material transport of materials means which materials, especially the food materials, are transported in the plant from the synthesized to the utilizing area. Okay, so such kind of transport is known as transport of materials in plants. So next we have seen, you can see the vein. The vein contains not veins, the leaves. Leaves contains veins. So what are the veins? Veins are nothing but a small, a stick-like structure that appears in the leaf. Can you see here? You can see in this structure the leaf contains small a veins like structure. These veins are containing the vessels like xylem and phloem bundles. So these xylem and phloem that are present in the leaves, so that the food can be transported from the leaf to the stem, and from the stem to the where the food is necessary for the growth and development in the plant. Okay, you can say that they are in continuous with in stem. And biologists studied about the food transport in the system, food transportation in the plants with the help of the aphids. So aphids are nothing but a green colored small tiny insects like structure. They are going to live on the plants. Okay, hence you can call them as a greenfly also. Okay, these aphids contains long needle like organ like known as proboscis. You can see in the mosquito, you can see the small needle like structures. In the same way, in the aphids also contains a needle-like organ known as proboscis. So the main important feature of this proboscis is for the piercing into the phloem sieve tubes that are extremely small. Okay, so here you can see the phloem. Okay, so xylem. This is just a rough diagram of the stem. Okay, so this is the outside. Okay, so this is inside. Okay, so in the sea from the outside, if you look from the outside, you can see the first xylem. Okay, next is the phloem. So we know that in the phloem the food materials will be transported. What are the food materials like glucose, amino acids, and so on? These all are getting transported through the phloem. Okay, so what these aphids are doing? These aphids are, they are going to insert this proboscis into the which cell, which column, that is nothing but phloem tube cells. Okay, into the phloem tube cells the needle like organ will be inserted, and also they are going to absorb the nutrients from the phloem tube cells. Okay, but there is another feature, that is nothing but upon slight pressure on it, upon the slight pressure on the phloem sieve tube cells, they are going to uh, excrete, or they are not excrete, they are going to secrete a food material like sugars and also amino acids. Okay, so to study about this, to study about the phloem tube cells, and also to study about the fluid that is flowing inside the phloem tube cells, the scientist what they did, first they killed the aphids. Okay, and also making sure that the proboscis remain in the phloem only. Okay, so after that they carefully section, it means they carefully cut the stem along with the proboscis. Okay, and they make sure that the proboscis is inserted into the stem while cutting the stem. Okay, small stem of the plant. Okay, so then they came to know that the proboscis is inserted into the xylem only. Okay, not beyond that. Up to which distance the proboscis is inserted? The proboscis is inserted up to the phloem only, not beyond that or not before that. Okay, So then they came to know that the holos proboscis, this is, let us consider this is a holo proboscis, okay. And from the holo proboscis they came to know that the small droplets of the fluid is coming out. So from the small droplets of the fluid they have collected whatever the fluid they have collected, they sent for the analysis is nothing but what are the substances that is present in these drops, okay. And based upon their analysis it came to know that these drops are the fluid that is coming from the phloem tube cells containing the sugars, amino acids, and so on. So what you can understand from it? You can understand from it that the synthesized food materials will get transported from the phloem tube cells or phloem. Okay. So aphids absorbs more sugars from the xylem vessels, whether the irrespective of their need and hunger, they will absorb more amount of the sugars. They will absorb more amount of the sugars. What happens if they absorb more amount of the sugars? They will excrete a sticky substance like structure, a sticky substance like fluid that is known as honeydew. Honeydew is nothing but a light brown in color. Okay, it is looking like a light like dark in color, and also it is sticky. Why? Because it contains sugar. When you see the sugars containing in a solution, it is known as sticky in nature. It has sticky nature. Okay, and also not only that, the aphids also covered with honeydew. As a result, they are also appearing as a sticky in structure or sticky in nature. Okay. Next is the ringing experiment. So in this experiment we are going to see importance of this phloem. Okay, importance of this phloem in the survival of the plant. Okay, so for that what you have to take, you have to take one plant. So make sure that the stem is there and the stem is thin, and also we have to remove the ring of the bark from the shoot. Okay, this is a normal shoot, and also you have to remove the ring of it. As a result it will looks in this way. So after few days what you can see, there is some growth above it. Previously you can see the differences. Before there is no growth over here, but after few days you can see the growth over here. Okay, what does it mean? It means that the food which is produced in the leaves will get transported over here due to the damage of the phloem and also xylem. So there is no chance of transport into the lower side of the plant. As a result, all the food material will get accumulated over there. As a result, due to the accumulation of the food material, you can see some growth above the ring. Okay, above the ring, some amount of growth will be seen. And accumulation of the food is the main reason for the increase in thickness of the stem, but no increase in the stem below the ring. Okay, no growth over here. Okay, based on it, what you can confirm? Based on that, you can confirm that there is a flow of food material from the plants, from the region of the synthesis to the region of the utilization. Okay, and it's known as transport of materials in the plant. So damage to the phloem around the stem will prevent the food processing downwards, and also as a result, after few days, this plant is going to die. Why? Because the roots will not get enough amount of food materials. As a result, the tree will die. Okay, this fact has a great economical importance. So what is meant by great economical importance? Especially if you plant a tree crops, okay, especially casuarina or some other apple crops and so on. So what the animals will do, they will come and they will eat in this way. Okay, or they will cut the stem in this way. As a result, after few days, so the trees will die or the crop will die. So because of this activity, so this is the reason we are saying that this fact has a great economical importance. So the farmers are going to face losses in the crop fields. So as a result, they are going to get secured. So the plants which have been planted on the roadsides also, you can see they have been secured with wire netting. Okay, so that the animals will not eat it. Okay, and also they can also, by this way you can prevent the damage. So the biting of the stem in this way is known as gnawing. Okay, or gnawed of saplings. So they are going to chew the animals will chew the bark in this way. Okay, as a result, the tree will die. So the bark of the trees by crop by animals, especially the animals like rodents. It means the rat family animals, and also wolves. These are the organisms. These are the organisms. They are going to do such kind of activity. Okay, so to prevent such kind of damages, the foresters encourage predators. So what is meant by predator? Predator is nothing but any animal which will kill another animal is known as predator. So in this case, the predators for the rodents, wolves is the foxes, badgers, hawks, wolves. So these all are the predators. They have been encouraged. It means they will bring more amount of such kind of organisms to kill these organisms like rodents, wolves, etc. Okay. So as a result, we can keep down the population of these animals and we can save the trees. So based on the observation of the visible size of the tooth marks on the position and also position of height on the bark, causative organisms can be identified. For example, if you see, let us consider this is the plant. Let us consider this is the plant. Okay. So this is the on the plant you can see the bark. So on the bark, how much is damaged and what is size of the biting on the stem, and also in what is the height, okay, height of the damage, okay, and so on. Based on the analysis and observation of the such kind of observations on the stem, we can identify that which organism is going to damage the plant or the which organism is going to damage the tree. Okay. And is one question, you may notice that sometimes bark of the tree is damaged more than half. Even then the tree is alive. How is this possible? So what is asking in the question? So let us consider this is the bark or the plant. Okay, the stem is damaged. Mostly the ring is damaged up to half extent or up to some extent. Okay, but the tree is alive but not dead. How it is possible? So the answer is simple. So only how much is damaged? Only half is damaged, but remaining half is intact with the lower side of the stem. As a result, this half, whatever the half is left over or remaining, it is helping in the transport of food materials and so on, food materials, water and so on. As a result, this tree is going to alive. Why? Because the roots are getting the enough amount of food materials, minerals, everything, etc. Okay. So by this way, the tree can be alive with the half amount of the bark or half amount of the phloem or xylem. Okay. And I hope this lecture is helpful to you. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Link, like, share, and also comment. You can ask your doubts or questions in the comment section so that we can respond to that and answer the answer to your questions. And in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about yeah, this is over. So this topic is over. Next segment, in the next topic, we are going to discuss about RH factor, a rhesus factor, and also erythroblastosis petalis. So it is a small topic that is after the chapter. Okay. So we will see you in the next lecture.